Jennifer?
It's gonna go.
Jennifer.
Jessie.
Jennifer.
That's what I said, Jessie, the first time.
No, you said Jennifer.
Learn her name. Right now.
I learned it. I learned it.
No, you are messing.
Okay.
So we're looking for our counter
We still need a,
3 minutes.
what?
this.
3 minutes over, yeah.
Our counter just counts how many people.
We'll start once the
Mandarin
we'll
Toastmasters.
start once the Mandarin Toastmasters is all saturated over there.
Recruiting a hot counter.
Recruiting the hot counter.
Recruiting for you just count how many times people say
Oh, you can find your banner?
Perfect. What's her name?
Something's missing. Okay, I'll be back. Wendy.
Okay.
Are we all done? Are we all cool with the roles?
Do we have a grammarian over there?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
Who's not taking the role tonight?
We already have a timer, right? Marco.
Marco, would you like to be grammarian also?
But we should have enough members here to everybody should take a role.
Okay.
Everybody who's not taking the role tonight. Jessie, you taking the role today?
She's speaking.
Oh, you speak.
Next
Okay.
do anything?
Okay. All right.
Next time.
All of the members have roles.
Okay.
All right, come on in.
We can have Samuel take the role, right?
Samuel, would you like to be grammarian?
There you go. Beautiful.
There you go.
Now we'll
Yeah.
There you go. You want to have a seat right here? And you can ring the bell every time somebody says the word of the day. Okay.
All right. So let's go ahead and ring the bell first. Beautiful.
All right.
Welcome, everyone. I know we'll start off a little late. This is pretty good. Okay. Well, good to see you guys all come back. Hopefully you guys had a wonderful weekend. We had a really awesome weekend, which we'll probably talk about either later today or I'll do a speech later on. First things first, let's go ahead and silence your cell phone. If you have a cell phone, go ahead and turn it off. And do we have any new guests today? Yes, I think we do. What is your name? Would you please stand out, say your name, how did you find out the club?
Hi, I'm Yanis Bredelis. Just coming to look around at what you're doing. I'm actually the husband of Jessie, so she told me all about you, and I was quite curious to see what you do.
Nice. Yeah. What is your name again?
Yanis.
Yeah. Yes. Y-A-N-Z.
It's spelled slightly funny because I'm Greek, so the alphabet doesn't really translate. But it's pronounced like a Y-A-N-I-S. That's mine.
Y-A-N-I-S.
It's very loose t-shirt.
Okay. Okay, welcome.
Welcome.
Okay, and also a newcomer is here. Will you please stand out and state your name and how did you find out about the club?
Well, I prefer to announce myself in Chinese name. Is that okay?
Sure, yeah. That's fine.
First is Chinese name, which is Qi Hua Quan. Quan is the last name. Qi Hua.
Qihua.
Yeah, but my English, for you to easily remember that, I like to use Yvonne. And this is my first time. I found out this from the internet. And since I had participated one time, 35 years ago, back in Taipei, Taiwan. So I kind of recognize this group, and I know this group is earning very high reputation. And I'm here to practice my
35 years ago.
There you go. Thank you.
Ellen was very young.
There you go. A few years before. Okay. Anybody else? Is the first time here? Oh, okay. Anybody else want to share anything over the weekend? Okay. Not? Okay. Let's go ahead and introduce our leadership team, starting from Amy.
Oh, that's what we do. Okay.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Amy. I'm the secretary of this club, and my job is kind of just do paper pushing and send out announcements. One other thing I do is, though, that if you are a new member today, or a new visitor today, visitors, would you give me an email so I can reach out to you, and then you can get in touch with us if you would like to have more information about joining us as members. Great, thanks.
Thank you. Robert?
Hi, I'm Robert. I'm the VP Education. My responsibility is to keep track of all the speeches that you guys do and provide you with a tutor if you need one, and also to assist you and encourage you to give your speeches if you need any help. Let me know. Thank you.
All right, Robert.
Johan, our Sergeant at Arms.
Hi, my name is Johan. I'm your Sergeant at Arms. My duties are to really get new members acquainted with the club, kind of direct them if you're new to the club and you have questions about who you should talk to, or my duty is to really get you introduced in here and connect you with the right person. So come to me if you have any questions about who you should talk to or who you should connect with for membership or about giving your speeches or anything like that.
All right, yeah.
Okay, and next one up will be Sue, or VP of Membership.
I'm still on the membership, and I'm helping you to write down an application form to be one of member here. This is if you have any questions about this club and just how much to be a member, like this kind of things. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. And our PR, Marshika, and our Secretary, Treasurer, Timo. They say hi. Hi. Okay. And my name is Alan. I'm the president of the club. My job is to help you coordinate with, collaborate with a different club, and try to see what we can come up with something different and new, and to improve the club and take it to the next level. Okay, so without further ado, we have a very good meeting for tonight prepared for you. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce our English and Mandarin Toastmaster. English Toastmaster will be Michael. And the Mandarin Toastmaster will be JJ. Thank you very much. Let's give you 4 years.
So today we have the word of the day is peace. And the reason we chose peace is because, thank you, is because Friday is the International Day of Peace. So people all over the world will be celebrating peace. JJ?
我们今天的word of the day 就是和平，中文是和平。因为我们觉得我们虽然现在生活在所谓的和平年代，但是有很多，比如说政局的变动，或者是恐怖袭击的影响，会发生很多不和平的事情。所以我们觉得这是一个非常有趣的东西去讨论。
Great. So shall we start with our first presentation?
我们第一个演讲是
Remember, you want to introduce the other roles?
other roles.
Sure. We at the meeting we have 3 roles. We have an odd counter, a grammarian, and a timer. And the odd counter today is
Wendy.
Wendy.
Yeah.
Wendy, would you like to stand up and explain your role briefly?
So basically, what I'm going to do is to count how many R and that you speakers during the speech. So, yeah.
Great. And the second role is the grammarian. Would you like to explain the grammarian's role?
Sure. So I know the grammarian's role is to ring the gong whenever someone says the word today, peace or helping. Do I give a report on do I evaluate the grammatical structure or?
We don't have that on the agenda.
Okay.
If you want to, that'd be great.
No.
And the third role is the timer. Marco?
Actually, because I don't remember exactly how many minutes each speech is supposed to.
With the
I'm
cards.
very-
Yeah. That's a very good question.
you know,
We'll find that for you in a second.
no, I don't have the card.
But can you explain what you do?
Basically, I'm the one who time, the speech, and then let people know if they are close to the limit or the time limits that they are allotted to. So, but I don't have the exact specific numbers.
Well, I think the longer, Robert, I think it's 7, right?
It's 5 to 7 for
5 to 7.
all the other
All the
speeches, except for the icebreaker, which is 4 to 6.
Okay, one more time.
So,
Icebreaker is 4 to 6.
And then all the other speeches is 5 to 7.
7, okay.
And usually you put up the green card when it hits the first mark, and the yellow card when it hits the middle mark, and the red card when it hits the last mark.
Okay, like for the icebreaker, the middle mark will be what?
5. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Okay.
And then for the table topic, it's going to be 1 to 2 minute.
Okay.
And then again, 1 is the green card, 1.5 is the yellow, and
Okay,
2 is the red
the
card.
table topic is 1 to 2 minutes.
Yeah, 1 to 2 minutes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
First speaker, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Robert.
Thanks.
Thanks, Ross.
所以我们现在请 Robert 上来演讲他的第7次演讲，他的题目是风水。
Well, Alan is not that. Alan is he's all the way there.
Oh. Okay. Sorry.
We'll go somewhere else first.
There.
Who wants to go?
Do you want to go first, Barry?
Oh, wow.
Okay, Barry. Okay, so our new first speaker is Barry Tsai, and
But I'm not prepared yet.
his speech is an inconvenient truth about your house and climate change. Let's welcome Barry. Yeah.
All right, Barry.
So I'm just going to give me another minute to bring up the file.
Okay.
So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So, how many of you actually heard of the speech from Al Gore, The Inconvenient Truth? Well, not too many. Okay, how many of you actually receive your utility bill from PG&E every month? Okay, so this will interest you, right? So I'm gonna talk about how your utility bill actually has impact to global climate change, and then how we can actually take action to improve the current situation. So what I have here is sort of a bunch of scientists' research results, right? They basically track the global temperature trend, and then you can see this is a research done since middle of 1800, and then there's some sort of a micro scale wide, there are a little bit of a disparity there, but the overall trend is all trending up. That means the global temperature is actually going up. And then if you needed more evidence, right, so here's another picture. This one basically showed the 2 pictures taken at end of summer, which is September in 1979, and in comparison with another picture taken at the exact same location from satellite in 2007. So they compared the sea ice, which is sort of a frozen seawater. It's ice, but usually only exists in the Arctic area because of temperature is low there. You can see in between 1979 and 2007, the Arctic sea ice area actually shrink quite a bit, right? So according to research, the rate that the sea ice is decreasing is by the rate of 8% per decade, which means every 10 years is 8% less. And then this actually research only done until 2007. A more recent research and result actually indicated the degradation rate is actually higher than that. So what is actually causing the global temperature to rise up, and then also the sea ice levels to kind of decrease and shrink, right? So if I can get the iPad right, work with me here. So this one is another a phenomenon called greenhouse effect. I don't know how many of you actually heard about this before. So essentially how this phenomenon works is it's basically basic heat transfer, right? So you have the Earth in the space, and then you have the sun hitting the sunlight and go straight through the atmosphere and then hit the Earth. And through some kind of heat transfer process, the Earth would absorb some of the solar energy from the sun. This is how the Earth actually keeps us warm, which is a good thing. But we don't want too much energy from the sun, because the sun actually generates a lot of power and energy. So majority of the solar energy actually bounce back and go back to the outer space. Right? And then atmosphere is kind of surrounded the Earth, which serve as a protection to the Earth. You can think of it as a blanket. Right? So if you hold on to the blanket, I think you, sorry, your body temperature will go up because the blanket protect your body, right? So same thing is the atmosphere doing to the Earth. And then within the atmosphere, there's also an element called greenhouse gas. These are majority of them actually composed of air like CO2, carbon dioxide, and then some of them is actually water vapor and some other rare element of the air. So what greenhouse gas does is serve as a blanket, so it would actually protect the Earth from the solar radiation directly coming from the sun, and also it would shield the Earth from dissipated some of the solar energy go back to the Earth, go back to the outer space. So it's kind of good and bad, right? If you have too much greenhouse gas, I guess the Earth would kind of become warmer and warmer, right? It's kind of like your blanket become heavier and heavier as it goes. And when you have too heavy of a blanket, right, your body temperature will start to go up because it becomes too warm, right? So which become not a good thing. So next one. So what is causing the greenhouse effect, right? So most people probably would guess, well, two things, right? Probably transportation, the car has a big CO2 emission, and maybe the industry that produce CO2 pollutant from the chimney, and that's what most people think, right? And the fact is actually there's something else. There's something else more than these two factors. So this one actually shows a pie chart of the top three CO2 emission source. And then the number one is actually building. It's basically the house you and I live in, or your home, or your apartment. So the reason behind that is the building actually consume about 70% of electricity in the United States alone. And then that 70% of electricity actually come from the power plant. And most of the power plant we have today in US actually burn the fossil-based energy, coal most of the time. And then burning coal would produce incomplete combustion. Incomplete combustion produce CO2, and then you have more greenhouse gas, which is bad for the environment. So what can we do? Right? Solar system is one solution. Kind of expensive one though. So this is kind of what I'm working on now with my current company. We design software to help people design green building. Right? There are many measures you could actually do. Right? For starter, you could start with something simple. Right? Just switch off your power. If you don't use the light, switch it off. If you don't use your computer, switch it off. And then if you have more money, buy energy compliance software, not software, sorry, I do software. Buy energy compliance appliance. Those will do good for your environment. Or throw away your secondary refrigerator in your garage if you don't use those. And then solar system is more expensive, usually an effective measure, right? But you don't necessarily have to go there if you're not a professional. And last but not least, if I run out of time, right? Simple thing to do, switch on your power. If you don't use the light, turn it off. Little thing like that was how to save your own money. You reduce your utility bill, and then you will help to save the environment as well. That's the only takeaway I want to have from today. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Barry, for that great presentation about climate change and how we can all make a difference.
So since Alan is back, Robert, you want to do your speech? Okay.
Can I have a question? Middle point, I put yellow card, right?
Yes.
Middle point, and then when do I put green card?
When it hits 7.
Now, like in this
Oh,
case,
green. Oh, 5.
5. Okay, done. Thank you. Thanks, Rob.
所以Robert 今天要做他的第7次演讲，题目是风水。欢迎。
有没有试过走进一个家的时候，感觉到全身都不自在，或者是感觉到头晕，甚至想离开那个家？你们知不知道，如果你要买房子的时候，要带一个小孩子一起去？如果那个小孩子 突然哭的话呢，那套房子你就不要买。为什么呢？莫非有鬼？不是，那就是那套房子的风水不好。一个住宅的风水不好的话，可以影响到全家人的健康，他们的运气，还有可以带来那个杀生之祸。所以呢，今天我就想跟大家分享风水，给大家多一点认识。风水已经有3000多年的历史了，从那个三国的时候已经出现。风水的核心思想就是人和大自然合在一起。风水的学问就是帮助人们找到一个好的地方。找到一个好地方干什么呢？找到一个好地方，你可以盖房子，或者你可以埋葬你的先人。那么为什么风水叫风水，不叫活水，不叫别的水呢？因为风是指那个气流，可以带动气流；水呢，就是大地的血脉。有风有水的地方，万物就可以生长。所以今天我就想跟大家分享，什么住宅的风水是好或是不好。先说盖房子在什么地方，你千万不要盖房子。我们先看图片。那第一个图片就是如果你在那个山坡下面盖房子的话，就不好。为什么呢？就是那个泥土很容易不稳定。如果破的话呢，你那个山楼就流那些泥土下来，你的房子就完蛋了。啊，第二，很多人喜欢盖房子在那个海边，因为感觉到看着海很漂亮，是吗？也是有同一样的道理，泥土不稳定，你会生活在这里就感觉到紧张的话，你会感觉到有神经病。你住长了你就有神经病，所以千万不要盖房子在岸边。第三呢，千万不要盖房子在那个河口。什么是河口呢？就是那个河流出很多水的地方。为什么呢？河口就是放那个气。我们说气呢，就是 energy 有好有不好。所以如果那个河排出来那个气，这是地气。地气是不好的，如果地气进你的家的话多一点呢，你的健康就不好。那第二，你在什么地方不要买房子？你看，如果你的房子在这条路前面，就千万不要买。为什么呢？那个路就像一个弓 ，a bow 啊。如果你的大门口是对正那个弓的话呢，那个主人在这个房间会有杀生之祸，死定。Okay. 另外一个我也不要再说了，你可以看到那个路是弓，然后另一条路是站，就是射进去，所以千万也不要买房子在这些地方，小心哈。如果你买了房子了，你要注意什么呢？我们先要看看，如果你的房子没有那洗澡的话，就是大松宅。So a house without one corner, in particular the west corner, it's very bad. OK. 如果你家没有就是南角的话，你会很容易在里面吵架，跟别人吵架。如果家里面呢有凹的地方 ，so when there's a press in your house， 比如说在北方和南方有凹的地方呢，你那个灾运呢常常会有打官司的那个影响，或者在东和西边有凹的地方呢，你呢一生会忙碌，就是你常常呢就没有安定，所以要小心。 第三个就是有点趣，如果你大门口有 front door， 就是对正你那个卧室的门口。结了婚的人要小心，你老公跑出去找女人啊。OK， 所以要小心。如果你的家里面厕所在中间的话呢，很容易生病，所有的人都很容易生病，所以希望你家里面那个厕所不是在中间。最好的那个装饰呢，就是如果你大厅放在你家中间的话是最好。还有现在我们的科技就是很多那些沙发其他东西都用那个金属来做，用金属来做不是不好，但是太多金属那些装饰的话呢，对于人不好。为什么呢？金属就是可以影响到我们的磁场的 flow or the polarity of these metal could affect the way that we think， 所以会影响到你们思想一方面，做错那些决定。还有就是在床头上呢，就不要放太多东西在床头上，因为太多东西在床头上呢，会感觉到有点压力，你会感觉常常有点压力在上面，就是也是不太好。那最后呢，在厨房里面千万不要放那个洗衣机，厨房不可以放洗衣机，因为在中国人的概念是，厨房是一个比较很神圣的地方。如果你做菜的话，你在洗衣服的话，这个是双冲的，所以对这个是不好。以下只是我的想法和那些图片的想法，你们可以回家试一试，但是也不担保会不会有什么事情发生。谢谢。
谢谢 Robert 很有趣的演讲，但是我发现美国有很多房子都是你图上不好的那些例子，我不知道大家有没有感觉到。
Thank you for that great presentation, Robert. And our next presentation is from Kathy. And she's going to inspire us to do the impossible. Let's welcome Kathy.
Johnson, I love your request to be the project manager for the next project, but I don't really think you can do it. I'm so sorry, you're not good enough for that job. Hey Larry, really? I'm not good enough? Okay, I guess, never mind, I just go back to do my work. So it is a typical scenario could happen to all of us that someone turned down our request and we think we're not good enough. Internally, we're like, since they said we're not good enough, we're not good enough. So we put ourselves down, underestimate ourselves. But did you ever realize what basis or what data or statistic did they base on when they give you that comment? Maybe it's for their own advantage, or maybe they don't have any basis. They just put it out for whatever reason to put you down. So now I want to inspire all of us to do the impossible. To do the impossible, turn it to be possible. There are 3 steps we could do to turn ourselves, to inspire ourselves. First, our mind is much stronger than we think, and of course much stronger than other people's word. For example, if you in the seawater, you're floating away, there's a shark coming at you. I'm sure when the shark opens its mouth, we see his jaw and the teeth. I'm sure your mind is saying, the shark's telling you, I can't swim away, I'm too weak, I can't do it. But for humans, we always strive for survival. Of course, we're just not going to hang around and be eaten. At that point, I'm sure for survival, we would say, just swim the hell out of our body and use all the strength we ever had to get away. And after we would say, I'm so surprised, I never thought I could have the energy or the capability to get away from the danger. I just got away. So never underestimate your abilities to do something impossible. So second, we are the one who know ourselves the best.
I'm sure there's always some cases that when we do a presentation or a speech, we always frantically worry about someone's going to catch this mistake in my speech, and get all worried at the end of the speech hall, and not applauding yourself what you have just done, but instead spending time worrying stuff or done a project report, submit to your boss, and spend days and days if your boss doesn't give you any comments that maybe there's something wrong with my report. Maybe they didn't find my work is, I guess, exceptional, but at the end, they didn't give you comments. Maybe they don't have time to review it. And for second, you never know. They may not spend as much time as you would expect them to spend to look over your work. So they never catch the mistake you all worried about. So never spend too much time or spend any time to worry about anything you have done already. Just focus the present and plan for the future. So the third, it's going to say how to think the impossible to be possible. I'm sure everyone knows before the year 2008, no one ever thought to be African American can be elected as a president of the United States. But at that time, everything is possible. And President Obama did prove to us that he is capable. And he made the history. But how he made the history is by believing in himself. He make a plan, strategize, and take step by step. And believing in himself, he could do it with teams. And also, along with that, miracle happens. Also, women can be presidential candidates and vice president candidate as well. So from then, we could use other successful people's stories to inspire ourselves and to remind ourselves those impossible can be turned to possible. I'm sure everyone has done up and down moments in their career and personal life. So when you feel down or upset about yourself, when you think you can't do it, what you can do to inspire or make yourself to be more self-confident. From one of the famous writer, Brian Tracy, he always say, bring out the fluffy, warm stuff. For example, maybe a thank you card from someone you have worked with, maybe a client or coworker, thanking for your work. You'd be so diligent about the project. They really thank you. They wrote you a letter, an email, a message, whatever it is, save it and put it in a box. You definitely can take advantage of that when there's a moment you feel, oh, I can't do it. Bring it out, read it. Definitely can boost your self-confidence. So lastly, I would like to reinforce that when you think something is impossible, first step is to use your mind to reinforce that you're capable. Second, keep telling yourself you know yourself the best, so you know how to strategize and plan. Third is to use successful stories to inspire or maybe put up some examples to inspire you how to do step by step, and you can definitely do the impossible. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy, for that inspiring speech. And our next speaker is Jessie. She's giving her icebreaker speech. This is her first speech. Let's all encourage her.
Thank you, everyone. Right, I'm going to introduce you. Oh. Right, that's the title of my speech, and that is my name, and it's pronounced as she, and it means the sun. Apart from it's my name, and it's a very beautiful character. So, just talking about myself can be a bit boring, so I'm going to introduce you some places I have lived and I have studied and I have worked, and hopefully by introducing these cities I will share some of my interesting experience, and hopefully by the end you will know me a know about me a little bit more, and at the same time get to know some places and how ordinary people live in those places in a specific period of time. The first place I want to introduce you was Lufeng. Right. And that is China, and that is Canton, and there's a little town called Lufeng. It's a very peaceful town. The town has a population of 1.5 million. When I was growing up there, I was born there, and I was growing up there as a young kid. Most of families are really poor. My parents always told me that when they got married, the wallpaper actually newspaper. And we have pigs and chicken in the backyard, and those are not our pets. Those are for dinner. And I don't know how many of you have heard how a pig will make a sound. Pig can really scream when they got slaughtered. And I don't know how many of you have killed a chicken, but as a young kid there, you pick up some skill that are completely irrelevant to today's modern society. So as a kid, I was able to catch a chicken and kill it, drink the blood out of it, and get the feather out of it and give it to my mom. But I can't do it anymore. So that was Lufeng, and as a young kid, because the school was really under resources, so we only have half a day in school, and the other half a day kids just go wild, completely wild. You go swimming in the river, you climb up the trees, you go up to this hill, go up to that hill, you dig up some sweet potato from other people's field and you bake it in silly, funny way. And there's no safety concern, there's nothing complicated, everything was just like so natural and so simple. It was just funny compared with what we have today. And then I move on to another city, it's called Shenzhen. Right, it's actually here. Yeah, it's actually here. And it's next to Hong Kong. And I was there as a teenage. Shenzhen was a very dynamic city, if people know a little bit about China, and it was one of the first 5 cities to open up for foreign investment in China, and it was the first one of the 5 cities to experiment the new economy policy in China, which established the China we've seen today. And over there, it was when we were there was many factories in Shenzhen. There's factories and factories and factories. And the first accommodation we rented in Shenzhen was a dormitory for factory workers. So every room was the same size. There's no living room or bedroom. Every room was the same size, because for the factory worker, people just put beds over everywhere, and people just sleep there. There's nothing, entertainment, nothing. So on lunchtime or evening time, you can see workers just come back from work, just flooding in and flood out to get food, and it was quite interesting. And in there I learned English, I learned Cantonese, and in there I learned about English songs. The first song I learned about was Michael Jackson, Black or White. And from there we went, Shenzhen was the city that had the first McDonald's in China. So we would go to McDonald's instead of go for dim sum as a family to queue up for hours to get a Happy Meal or something. It was really silly. And then I moved on to England, to Sheffield and Manchester, where I studied for my degree, where I really established myself grow up as a young person or old now, and where I get a feeling what it means to be shaped by culture. Also, where I get my first job, I got my first driving license. I got my first car, first apartment, everything new. And also for the first very long time, we had neighbors. Because as a student, you always move around, you never have neighbors. And that was really nice. And now I'm in San Francisco, because what my husband always say, the IT go rush. Everyone just rush you to fix something in the IT industry. So that's my speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessie, for that very interesting speech. Now we'll move on to the next part of our meeting, the Mandarin table topics.
下面我们要进入我们的即兴演讲部分。先是我们的中文的即兴演讲部分。我们即兴演讲，中文的即兴演讲的主持人是我们可爱的 Sherry。Sherry， 你可以先介绍一下你的这个 role， 你要干什么
？OK， 好，谢谢 JJ and Michael。那即兴演讲就是我会给大家一个固定的一个题目。今天借着和平这个主题，我会讨论3个比较严肃的问题，希望大家不要太过激动，我们都可以和平的讨论一下我接下来要说的一些问题。那刚才 Michael 提到，今年的这个星期的星期五是世界和平日，这个月份是9月份。9月份对于中国人来说，我不知道在座是不是很知道918是一个什么日子？卢沟桥事变。对，卢沟桥事变，所以918就是中国跟日本10年抗战的开始。918就是昨天。那然后9月3号呢，又是一个什么日子？大家知道吗？9月3号是中国战胜日本的胜利纪念日。那然后9月29号又是什么日子？大家知道吗 ？OK，9月29号是1972年日本跟中国正式建立友好。那你可以看到9月份对于中国和日本这2个国家来说是一个非常有好有坏、有和平有战争的一个月。那最近呢又出现了，刚刚从9月份初的时候，不知道大家知不知道，在日本，这是一个地图，这是台湾的，然后这是中国，然后这边是日本的琉球，然后 Okinawa。Oh, I don't have time actually. It's only for the yeah. Thank you. 中间有一个非常非常的小叫钓鱼岛，台湾人叫钓鱼台，中国人叫钓鱼岛。那最近日本的内阁说他们要用20.5亿的日元来购买这个钓鱼台，就想大家发表一下自己的意见。最近在日本，在中国和台湾有很多的人要抵制日货。我个人是觉得，我自己的想法，但是我想听一下在座是否对这个中日台这么一个最近的一些局势有什么样的看法？Or in English is fine. So there's this little island in between China and Japan. That's the last turning point between the Japan-Sino relationship.
I thought that island.
Can you go in the front?
I should go off the stage.
Question. Okay, I thought that island is claimed by Japan. And how come you just said that Japan is going to buy it, to offer to buy it?
日本私有的，它有一个岛主，所以它要从岛主那边用钱来变成国有化。
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You gotta say something.
那I gotta say something. 如果作为中国的，或者你的想法是什么？
你说你的意见。
我好像没有意见，可是我知道很多人，香港人、台湾人，还有最近在国内 有许多同胞年轻人，他们非常激动的抵制日本的百货公司、日本的货物，因为他们认为日本这个国家，不管是政府还是私人，都没有权利来控制钓鱼岛。好像从历史上来讲，钓鱼岛应该是属于中国人的，这是我的 idea。OK。
计划女士。那钓鱼桃的一个历史，它其实之前是台湾的一个群岛当中，在台湾输给日本的时候，钓鱼台是过继给日本的，有这么一个历史存在。所以，那跟着来说，就像刚才基华说的，在中国现在有很多的游行。那最近有一个小伙子，他在中国出了名。因为他在其他人游行的时候，他举了一个大牌子说，前方炸车，如果你是日系的车子，请你赶快掉头的走。然后说到这方面的游行啊什么，最近在中东也有很多的游行。之前因为在 YouTube 上面有流传一个对穆斯林教的一个比较亵渎的，那有很多人说，可能那个就联系到之前在利比亚有一个领事被轰炸。想大家就讨论一下，在我们所谓的和平的时代当中，如果我们有对什么自己的想法有一些意见的时候，应该怎么样的去？如果是你自己的话，如果将你自己想象成是一个中国人或日本人或者是中东人，你会怎么样来怎么去参加这些游行？
说到这个，因为我想起来，我之前在中国的时候也去参加过一次抗日游行，然后那次是我现在都已经想不起来我为什么要去参加这个抗日游行。然后我们就是走到，因为在上海有一个日本的驻中国的领事馆，然后我们就在他们门口扔东西啊、叫啊，然后就走，一直走了很久，一直走到他们的一个日本人聚集的一个居住地，然后再从那里走到上海的闹市处，然后那个时候是有警察在旁边保护我们，就是帮我们开路，但是后来其实他们是说是帮我们开路，但是后来还是把我们很多人送上了搭 bus， 然后送去派出所帮我们关了2个小时。所以后来我就回去想了一想，我觉得说我为什么要去参加这个游行，就是 what's the point。然后但通过这次事情，我就觉得如果我们要爱国的话，我们还是要理性爱国，因为很多人要去砸日本车啊，但是他们因为在中国我知道有80%的人都是开日本车，有很多人都是用日本的电器。然后我觉得如果我们要就是说怎么说，如果要什么都比，就是要爱国的话，我觉得我们应该就造比他们更好的车，然后制造出比他们更好的电器，这样我们才怎么说，就是可以更加理性的爱国。我觉得这样比那些砸车啊、砸什么乱七八糟的东西都要好很多。
OK， 这个说的很好，要理性一点。那接下来我想也问大家一个，如何来理性的探讨一个科学上面的问题。接下来的这个对我自己个人有一点比较personal， 因为我的家人有一点 involved 在里面。不知道大家有没有听说过黄金大米 （Golden Rice）？ 那黄金大米是在1992年被一个它的一个背景就是有很多人认识到，全世界有20亿的人都是要吃大米来摄取营养，然后有很多的穷人，他们就想是否可以经过一个科学的渠道，把大米当中掺进好像维他命 A 之类的，维他命 A 可以让可 可以让你的身体，如果你缺乏维他命 A 的话，可能会导致你眼睛会变瞎，也可以最后导致死亡。那最近呢，绿色和平组织他们有说，中国前段时间有76个小孩子被拿来做实验，他们就根据这个人体实验用这个米来，但是有很多人认为这个米其实是它的开始是一个好的想法，但是怎么样要经过很长的一个调查或者是研究才可以知道说有没有一些对这方面的一些想法，在于科技，然后到底应该在什么样的地方？那好像在中国很多人觉得说，为什么要选中国的小孩子来做实验？那如果不选中国，应该选什么样的地方？或者是就是如果有任何想法，请上台来演讲一下。
你可以选择谁
I'll go. Or if anybody else.
没有新来的朋友，你想上来稍微讲一下吗？
大家好，我先自我介绍一下，我叫伊森，我今天第一次来，然后很抱歉迟到很久。然后关于这个问题，讲实话，其实我之前没有听说过这件事。然后呢，我觉得首先我觉得我们应该去想的问题是，这个黄金大米是谁先开始去做这些研究？是中国人自己在国内做研究，还是外国人去做研究？我觉得如果是中国人自己比如在北京一个实验室里面做研究的话，然后用中国小孩去做这种实验，我觉得不能说做实验，就是在中国小孩上做这种尝试，我觉得是没有什么可争议的，因为毕竟如果你通过了一系列的动物实验，你说老鼠吃过是安全的，如果什么猴子吃过是安全的，猩猩吃过是安全的，那到最后如果它真的有效，然后对人体是有好处的话，我觉得在人身上找几个志愿者来做这种事情是没有什么可争议的。那如果是外国人，外国一个药厂，然后来做这种研究，然后呢跑到中国说，我们抓76个很穷的，看起来很瘦的小孩来做这种实验，因为他们不用我们太多成本的话，那我觉得是一件没有什么道理的事情。这样。
谢谢伊登，他提到几个问题，就是大家可以自己去探讨一下。首先，这个研究其实是美国跟中国联合的，然后他之前已经在美国经过了临床试验，然后才去中国。我们可以去follow。还有没有人要对我刚才所提出的3个问题，如果想，因为我们还有一些时间，所以如果有任何人还有一些意见的话，可以上台。OK， 谢谢大家。
谢谢 Sherry， 很有趣的题目，发人深思。
So, moving on to our English table topic session, let's welcome Johan.
Sorry, I just want to confirm one thing. How many minutes supposed to be maximum for the table topics?
2.
Okay.
For each speaker, it's 2 minutes.
Oh, okay. So the whole thing can last how long? There's no limit?
Yeah, it should be
Okay.
So I just want to start off by saying that I think peace is a great theme for today's meeting, just because of all the stuff that we're hearing in the news lately, with the confrontations between Japan and China over the Diaoyu Thai Islands and, the death of the U.S. ambassador to Libya recently this week, and the warfare that we've been hearing about in the news coming from Syria. So I think peace is a great topic. When people talk about peace, one of the things that comes up a lot is world peace. World peace is a theme that is often echoed in social discourse and political commentary. Very often we hear people talking about world peace. Many people say that world peace is an a realistic ideal that we should all be able to, one day strive towards. One day we can all the nations, all the countries of the world can share the world's resources and coexist peacefully in today's world. People say that is a realistic ideal that we should strive toward, and one day we will be able to achieve it. There are also many critics, too, who say that world peace is very futile because there are all kinds of different types of people in the world, all kinds of different ethnicities and different cultural groups, and we have a limited amount of resources and because of humans' competitive nature, we will always have some type of conflict. So I want to turn it over to you and ask, do you think that world peace is a realistic ideal that all nations and countries should strive towards and that one day we will achieve? Or do you think that it is a futile impossibility, and why? So I want to start off with a more experienced speaker, Kayla. Would you care to answer this?
So what's your question?
Do you think that world peace is a realistic ideal that we can that all nations can one day achieve world peace, or do you think it's not possible?
World peace or become one country?
World peace to cooperate. And why do you think that?
Okay. I think we'll not be able to achieve. Because maybe get close because all countries are working on it, and all people are actually all nice, and one day they'll get close. But actually, each country they have their own benefit. So in my interest, they might get conflict. So it probably won't become extremely peaceful. So that's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Kayla. That was interesting insight. Many people I would say that it's really divided 50-50 across the world. There are many people out there who say that world peace is possible and believe in it very strongly, and then there are very, very many people who also believe that world peace is not possible and that we can only make the best to come close but never fully have a complete elimination of violence or anything. So the next question I have is that in the past, many countries such as Japan, China, and the United States in the past, those three being three of the most well-known, but many other countries as well in the past have tried to use isolationist policies to limit outside influences, and also as a way to help keep the peaceful status quo within their country, because they have felt that isolationist policies allow them to stay together and not be forced into engagements with outside countries. And of course, history has shown that has not always been very effective. For example, the United States, when they tried to maintain an isolationist policy in World War II, Japan bombed the U.S. in World Harbor and forced the U.S.'s hand into the war. And similar situations with China and Japan in the early part of the 20th century. But there are still countries that do advocate isolationist policies as a way to limit outside influences and to stay out of, to keep a peace within their country and to stay out of global confrontations such as North Korea and Iran. So I want to turn over again to you and ask, do you believe that isolationist policies still serve a purpose to keep peace within a nation? Or do you think that it is a futile effort in today's increasingly global world? And why do you think that? Marco?
I'm Marco, and to me, I think isolationism will work just imagine we have Al Qaeda having people just putting bombs on their body and say, I don't care how strong militarily you are, how many atomic bombs you have. In this case, United States, how strong you are, you can blow us up, but then I'm willing to die because of this hatred of you. So to me, I think in terms of, to call a business term, win-win strategy, I think that's the best way to go. We need to be friends with each other for the benefit, peace, and harmony for each other, all of us, meaning all of us in the long term. So I think we have to learn to get along and come to compromise and come to terms that isolation is won't work. Thank you.
Can I answer that? On the other side?
Okay, I have a question.
Go for it.
Oh.
I just want to take a side on the other side of the affirmative, because it seems like everyone's against peace and it's like thinking it's not possible. But if we take a step back and look at not continents or larger communities, but in a smaller community, have you ever heard of Burning Man? Where people just get together out in the desert, like in the middle of nowhere, and what they do is they isolate themselves, and they create peace by doing this. What they do is they eliminate the currency. They do bring no money with them. Everyone brings canned food, shelter, artwork, and people are very happy. So in that sense, it's a very peaceful environment. So it can be peaceful, but in a smaller scale. I think with larger population, people innately are selfish sometimes, and everyone has interior motives, so it would be more difficult on a large scale. Thank you.
Thank you, Marco and Daniel, for those wonderful insights. We are, I believe, as a world with the nations, we are getting more and more cooperative, especially with the establishment this century of the United Nations and world peacekeeping organizations worldwide. We are increasingly becoming more and more cooperative. So another question I have is that social media has come into play a lot, especially in today's global conflicts. Much speculation, people have made much speculation about the influence of social media on global conflicts. Some people on one side say that social media is increasingly can be an increasingly useful tool to help end global conflicts quicker by raising awareness about them and forcing people to other nations and other groups to intervene and to stop the violence and to raise awareness about those conflicts. There are other people who say that social media can be have harmful, negative effects as well, to be able to facilitate basically more, fuel the violence and to make the side cling more to what they want to accomplish and make the aggressors cling more to their ideals and less likely to want to cooperate or surrender down their arms. So again, I want to turn it over to you and ask, do you believe that social media can be used as a tool in today's global economy for global conflicts, like in Syria right now or in other parts of the world? Do you think it can be used as a useful tool? And if so, how? Robert.
The role of social media has played a really important role in the Middle East, as it has sparked the Jasmine Revolution all across all across the Middle East, from Libya to Egypt to Syria. But the result of these revolutions have caused a lot of instability within these countries. We're leading into civil war. So does social media really help bring this uprising or this freedom purpose? It does. But does it really serve the purpose of giving peace to people? No. Now, China is really smart in controlling this what we call social media. And there are 4 countries in the world that are considered sick right now. And why is it that they're considered sick? Because these are the 4 countries that do not have Facebook. This is Syria, Iran, China, and North Korea. So they're all sick countries. Now, China is in particular great because it doesn't limit its social media capability. For example, we have Facebook, they have Renren. We have Twitter, they have Weibo. We have Google, they have Baidu. So all these supposedly social networking medias, they've copied and they have put a severe lockdown on it. So any form of revolution or any form of talks of revolution is instantly known to the government. This is great in that it could provide people with the social media aspect, but at the same time it could control the people's mind or the way that they think so that they don't start starting a revolution. So I think that social media is good if you have the capability to somehow limit the way that people are being controlled so that they don't start some weird stuff. But thanks.
Thank you for that comment, Robert. I thought that was really interesting. Social media is increasingly used, and it's interesting how we'll be able to see in the future as we develop more globally. It'll be interesting to see how social media affects us more as a global economy and with global conflicts and everything. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Johan, for a very interesting table topic. And let's move on to the final portion of our meeting, the evaluations. And let's welcome Alberto, our general evaluator.
Let's start with Alan to evaluate Robert's speech.
Thank you. Okay, so we're running a little behind, so let's get this thing up to speed. Robert, 这是你的第七个 speech 的 title 是主题研究。Basically, we want to see if you did your research about your topic or not. 你做 fantastic, OK？ 你不是很准确的讲出来你的风水的意思是什么，而且你还 go all the way back 到三国时代的那个时期，所以你的 research is very very good, OK？ 你 very very thorough。而且你一开始上来的时候，你跟大家讲话的时候，你马上就有大家的 attention， 所以你问了一些很妙的一些问题，然后这些人马上就说：“哦，这为什么不可以带小孩子？为什么要带小孩子去买房子的时候他们会哭？为什么不可以买？”这些是很好的一些问题，可以马上 engage 这些观众，非常非常好。OK， 我有拿到一些 take away message， 就是说从你的这个 presentation 里面，我有拿到3个重点。不过我想我今天就不要再 go over 这3个重点，我们继续 short on time。OK， 有些 speech 呢，当你在讲 speech 的时候，有些 speech 需要走来走去。不过今天的 speech 你没有走，反而是对的，因为当你在讲话的时候，你用了很多你的 props， 你的 pictures，right？ 当你在用你 picture 的时候，你每一个 picture 都有很准确的讲出来你想要表达的东西。所以在这个演讲里面，不走动反而是对你来讲比较有利。所以 that was a good choice。然后再加上你的全部的picture 啊，都有很 support 你的这个主题，所以 that's very well thought, very well detailed。OK， 你已经是一个很好的 speakers，right？ 所以 it's kind of hard for me to 给你一些的 point。不过真的需要给你一些 point 的话 ，OK， 就是当你要讲比较重要的东西的时候，你稍微停顿一下 ，OK， 像你说。如果说房子在这个 loop 的门口的话，像是你的弓箭射进这个人的主人，这个主人有可能会死，这样，然后稍微停一下，然后稍微语气用大一点，这个。